Alright, hey guys, it's Snow aka Jed, the rogue behind Classic Roguecraft, and today we have a full breakdown of the Darkmantle 0.5 questline for rogues as done live on stream yesterday. So I was one of the first rogues on the server to complete the questline, as I did the entire 0.5 Darkmantle quest from start to finish live on stream yesterday, and we learned a lot over the 15 hours that it took to complete the entire questline. We discovered many things that weren't talked about in previous 0.5 guides and answered some questions a lot of other rogues had. So I thought I'd break down the entire 15-hour adventure into just the important bits to save you fellow rogues a bit of headache and time when you go do your own Darkmantle quest, so you don't repeat the same mistakes or run into the same issues that I had when I was doing the quest. As always, this content is brought to you by you guys. If you love this content and you want even more guides, I offer extra guides in a bonus sub-channel of my Discord. Just head over to twitch.tv/snowme and hit that subscribe button. You can do it even when I'm not streaming, and then you can join my Discord. There you get a bonus video guide every single week in our bonus Twitch subscriber channel. And by the way, even if you're not subbed, feel free to join the Discord. We have over 5,000 rogues in there all asking questions, and I'm super active answering everyone's question every single day. Oh, and thank you for everyone that has subbed on YouTube so far, by the way. I know it doesn't mean much to just hit that sub button, but we got our non-subscriber percentage below 80%, so thank you. And if you're not already subbed, feel free to hit that sub button below as a favor to me. It helps boost our videos to more rogues who can use this info. Okay, so before we dive into the step-by-steps of the questline, I just wanted to note a few really important things that we discovered while doing this questline. So one is that the questline seems to be class-based, in that there's a few steps in here where there are some supposedly randomized quests, so the NPC can give you one of 4 possible options, for example. But what it turns out, or what we have discovered, is that it seems to be class-based. So all the rogues will actually get the exact same order of the quest. So this is actually good news for you guys, as we don't get any of the really bad randomized quests as a rogue. But I cover that all in this guide. I just want to give you guys a heads up so that you know. And number 2, what we did discover was that a lot of this questline has parts that aren't counted as group loot. So what this means is, if you're in a party like I was, where I had 4 people in my group doing the Darkmantle or 0.5 questline for their respective classes, you're going to have to repeat certain steps or get a ton of NPCs to meet the quest requirements. So there's parts that, for example, ask you to collect braces in Upper Blackrock. Well, those braces are not group loot. So if each person has to collect 40 of those braces, you basically have to get 160 braces if you were like me in a group of 4 people doing the quest. So just a heads up, just so you know, I do cover in this quest line, in this guide, exactly which quests are group loot, which quests aren't group loot, and I also cover where are the best places you should be going to for each part of the quest, because there's some parts of the quest line where they tell you to find this piece or go to this area, but they don't specify exactly where, and there's a few places that are actually better for quest drops than other places. Alright, so without further ado, let's get into the steps and the entire quest line. Alright, so step 1 is to just pick up the quest. Now the quest can be found in Ironforge or Ogre in the throne room, depending on which faction you are in. I am Horde, so I get it from Thrall's throne room. The quest is just from this NPC right here in front of me. Nothing fancy here, pretty straightforward. So you grab the quest, and as you can see, I actually herf straight to Silithus. This is something I would probably recommend. Silithus was very handy to have as a herf location for this quest, because I could either herf or I could use the instance teleport by going into an instance and dropping group and forcing it to teleport me to my herf location. It was just a very handy location to end up with for a lot of points of this quest. So you can either set your hearthstone to the inn in Silithus, or you can actually set it to the one in Gadgetzin, which is also close. Both of those locations are very close to the general area where you are going to end up going back to over and over again during this questline. Alright, so this part is all about just killing a ton of spiders and scorpions. There's a ton of them in Silithus. I started in the north area of the zone and just worked my way down south. Keep in mind that you don't need to kill these ones only in the north. The ones in the south, which are different color and slightly different name, those guys count as well. So any of the spiders and scorpions seem to drop the quest items that you need. Now you should note that this is not a group drop item. So these quest items, if you do them in a group, you're going to have to kill them and loot them one at a time either way. It's not kill one and loot four for all 4 people in your party, right? So it's 1 per drop. Even if 4 people have the quest, it's not group loot, it's solo loot. So keep that in mind. Alright, so once you're done here, you're going to have to go all the way back to the NPC that gave you the quest on the other side of the world. So I recommend you just buy a teleport or have a mage friend teleport you back to Ironforge or Ogre. Okay, so now the NPC is going to send you all the way back down south, back to Gadgetson. So as a horde, what I did was I ran into Ragefire, I dropped my group, and that Hearthstone teleported me back all the way to Silithus, and then I took the flight path over to Gadgetson. Okay, so now you've actually got your wrist because the NPC and the last quest should have given you your wrist already, and now this NPC here is going to give you a list of mats. Now obviously if you are prepared and you are following the guide on classic roguecraft, you should already have all your mats prepared, right? So on this mission I carried all the Darkmantle mats with me the entire quest line, so I didn't have to go to the bank back and forth. But basically this guy is going to send you all the way to Burning Steps now. So this is a theme you find a lot in this quest, is that they're going to send you all over the zones and it's going to suck. But what I did is we had warlocks set up to summon us, and that kind of cut down on the travel time. But if you don't have that set up, you are going to have to travel and fly all the way over to Burning Steps. Now over here in Burning Steps, you're going to collect your 25 volcanic ash. This is really straightforward. You just pick these up off the ground. I actually recommend that if you go to these, you see these lava groove things on the ground. These volcanic ashes have a lot of spawn points inside these lava kind of cracks, and you can pick up a lot of them inside those areas. Okay, now surprise surprise, you're gonna have to go all the way back to the same NPC in Gadgetson. So the quickest way here for me, because my Hearthstone was down, was to run all the way over to Upper Blackrock Spire and instance teleport by leaving my group and forcing it to Hearth me back to my existing Hearthstone location. So I went back to Silithus and then I flew over to Gadgetson, and that was kind of the quickest way to get there without a direct summon. Okay, so now this NPC is going to tell you to go get Ectoplasm. Now there's 3 zones you have to go to. So you're going to have to go to Silithus, Winterspring, and Eastern Plaguelands. I would recommend you get the Silithus one out of the way. It is the most annoying one because it has the least amount of spawns to share with other people. Now the way these ectoplasms work is that when you click the ectoplasmic distiller that the NPC gives you, it will use up 1 rocket fuel. Now the NPC does give you 8 rocket fuels, but as I recommended on a classic roguecraft, I told you to bring an extra 10 just to be safe, so that you don't run out for some accident. That would really suck if you ran out of rocket fuel when you needed it, but you should have plenty. So roughly I found that you could get about 6 or so depending on how fast you pulled and killed them. And then you will have to refresh the distiller by using another rocket fuel because it will run out. So roughly speaking, if you were super efficient, you could get the entire thing done in, let's say, 2 rocket fuels per area. Now these are individual loots again, but one good part about this is you can share each other's ectoplasmic distillers if you're on the same group. So you actually don't even have to use your own distiller or your own rocket fuel if you have a group mate who is also on the same quest and who has also put down the distiller in the same spot. So you can use each other's distillers as long as you are grouped with each other. Now a tip here is for the Eastern Plaguelands one. It's kind of annoying because it has to be only certain ghost types that drop it in Eastern Plaguelands. So I actually recommend you head over to Northdale. Northdale has a lake, and above that lake is a huge amount of ghosts. So if you go to any of the other locations, it's kind of a mix between undead, ghosts, ghouls, like big fat guys that don't give the ectoplasm. So if you go to Northdale, above the lake there is a ton of ghosts. So that's why I would recommend you head over to. Okay, so one additional tip here as well is when you are in the Winterspring step of the ectoplasm, once you finish that, head over down south to visit the imp merchant called Veal. or Vale, I don't know how you say his name, but you go visit him and pick up the Fell Elemental Rod. But you want to go pick this up because it is going to make you come all the way back here to pick it up if you don't pick it up now. So it's better to just buy this rod now so that you don't have to come all the way back to Winterspring in a second later. Okay, now when you're done, you're going to have to go all the way back to the NPC in Gadgets and again to hand it in. Now this time he's going to send you out back to Burning Steps again, where he's going to ask for a Magma core from Magma Lord Buck. Now this guy is non-elite, he's super easy to kill, don't even sweat this guy, he just falls over. I think in my group we all got to attack him like maybe once and then he just fell over and died. So yeah, don't even sweat this guy, he's a super easy guy to kill. So this guy is group loot, so you only have to kill him once and everyone in your group will get the Magma core. Then guess what? You're going to go all the way back to the NPC again in Gadgets In. Okay, so now the good news is the NPC is going to ask you for the Fell Elemental Rod that you pre-purchased before you came back this time, so you won't have to go all the way back to Winterspring hopefully, and that will let you move to the next stage of the quest. Okay, now you're going to go all the way back to Ogre now, or Ironforge depending on what faction you are, and you will finally get your Darkmantle belt and your gloves. Alright, so now this step is the Stratholme Dead section. So what will happen now is you're going to get sent all the way to Stratholme Main Gate. So this is the entrance to Live Side in Eastern Plaguelands, where you're going to have to click your little new Ghost Revealer thingamabob and you'll be able to talk to the NPC. Now this NPC will then tell you that you need to go into Strat Undead, and you have 45 minutes to do this portion of the quest. So this is actually pretty easy if you're in a group with a guild group. This is fairly easy. The only thing you have to be careful is don't let people die. That's the only main thing. Now the thing to note here is the timer does not start until you open the grill after the little chapel on the dead side of Stratholme. So you do have until you open that gate that is after the chapel in Strat Dead. Okay, so after you kill Baron and you do the whole quest thing with the invisible ghosts again, you're going to get sent back to the guy in the front of Stratholme Live, and then he's going to get the mats from you to craft the incomplete banner of provocation, and from here he will send you off to the Maul library. So you're going to be in DM North and you will have to jump into the library. Now this is super easy, you're a rogue, you should be able to pick the luck. If you don't have luck picking, then you should go do that, because why do you not have luck picking leveled as a rogue? And you will find the NPC down in the library of Maul. Now from here is where things start to get annoying. So what the NPC in Maul North Library is going to ask you is to collect 25 Ogre Warbeads. Now these Ogre Warbeads are maybe one of the most annoying parts of the quest, because one, they are not 100% drop rate, and they can drop in a few places. I'll tell you the best place in a second, but also because they are not group loot, which means that if you have one person in your group, you're going to have to get 25 Ogre Warbeads for them. If you have two people, you're going to have to get 50 Ogre Warbeads total to get both of you pass. If you have 3 people, you're going to need 75, and so on. So my group had 4 people doing the quest, so we actually had to get 100 Ogre Warbeads before we could move on to the next step of the quest. So where you want to do this is you can either go to Lower Blackrock Spire, or you can kill ogres outside the instances of Maul, or what I would actually recommend, and the best place personally if you have a group, is you kill Maul North ogres. Now these guys are higher level than the ones outside the instance, but their drop rate is way higher. Meaning we saw roughly about maybe a 50% drop rate. So in a full clear of Maul North, we got about 35-ish Ogre Warbeads a clear. So this was way quicker than we had people in my chat on stream trying to solo Ogre Warbeads outside Maul North, and they took something like 3 hours of solo killing ogres outside. So I would highly recommend you have a group and you kill the ogres inside Maul North. Okay, so next you're going to go back to the guy in the Maul North library. He's going to tell you to go get a Jeering Spectre's Essence. So this drops from the ghost mobs in Maul West. You can actually solo this part, so if you don't have a group, this part is soloable. Just be careful obviously to not attack huge amounts of ghosts at one time, try to find the solo ones, and you'll be okay there. But obviously in a group this is super easy, and the good news here for this step is that it is group loot. So as long as one of these ghosts drops a Jeering Spectre's essence, everyone in the group can loot it off that mob. Okay, so finally you're going to go back to the guy in Darkmantle again, and he is going to give you a banner of provocation at last. And now what you will need is to go all the way to Blackrock depths. So what you will need to do is to do the arena event, the Ring of Law inside the arena. Now the tricky thing here is be very careful about not entering the middle of the arena until after you have the banner down for a few seconds at least. So you want to have the banner down, because otherwise if the banner isn't down, you enter the middle of the arena, it's going to spawn the normal arena event. So you need this banner down before High Justice Grimstone spawns, because otherwise he will go through the regular arena and you have to reset the instance and try again. So definitely make sure you have this banner down before anyone enters the middle of the arena. Okay, so you're gonna kill him, you're gonna get the top piece of Lord Valthalak's amulet, and now you're gonna go all the way back to the ghost guy outside the front of Stratholme Live in EPL. Now finally, this ghost guy is going to send you all the way back to Ogre or Ironforge depending on your faction, and you will finally get your boots, your pants, and your Darkmantle shoulders. So finally from this point onwards, if you want, you can wear your 4-piece for fun, because you will have 6 pieces of Darkmantle from this point onwards. Now do note, if you haven't picked up your Hallowed Brazier from the Quartermaster at any Argent Dawn location, you will need to pick one up. It costs 120 gold, but you will need this for this step of the quest. Okay, so now the NPC in Ogre Ironforge is going to send you to Upper Blackrock Spire. So just outside the Blackrock Spire entrance is going to be another invisible ghost guy who you're going to click your ghost revealer thingamabob to see him, and he is going to give you the quest to kill 3 fire elementals. So the quickest one for you will be to do Pyroguard Embassier. So he is the fire boss inside Upper Blackrock Spire. Fairly easy to get to, so you're right next to it, you must as well just do it right there. So you go do that, then you come out, and I would recommend you go to Blackrock Depths next to kill Lord Incendius. So you go kill him, he's the fire elemental guy down in Blackrock Depths, and then you will have to go all the way down to Silithus. So if you have a Hearth, you can just Hearth over down to Silithus, or you can drop group and get kicked and auto Hearth down to Silithus, assuming that of course that your Hearth is set to Silithus or Gadgetson. Okay, now you will need to kill a Duke of Cinders. Now this is the part a lot of people have questions about, but the long story short is that you do not need the Signet of Beckoning, but you can use one to guarantee that you summon the Duke of Cinders. Now the way this works is if you have the Signet of Beckoning in your inventory and you wear everything to summon the Duke, you can summon him here, but you will get 2 options in the text. So one option will be the regular summon, and another option will talk about the Signet of Beckoning and ask you if you want to use the Signet of Beckoning to summon the fire guy basically. The good news here is that not everyone needs to even have the faction or needs to have the Signet to summon him. It is a group/raid quest, and everyone in your group or raid is perfectly fine to loot it as long as someone else has summoned the boss. So this is shareable. Not everyone needs their own Signet. You can share this with other people, so that's the good news. If you know a rogue with a Signet, you can join his raid and grab it as well when they summon it. So this is shareable, and it was confirmed on stream. Again, if you do not have a Signet, you can just randomly summon the Dukes, but you only have a 25% chance of spawning the right Duke, so it is highly preferable, especially with the chaos going on in Silithus, to have the Signet available. And worst case scenario, you can always split it. Now that we know it's 100% confirmed shareable, you can always split the costs or pay someone else who has a Signet to let you into your group. Okay, so now you will have to go back to the ghost outside Upper Blackrock Spire, and this time you're going to get 1 of 4 quests, but what we have confirmed is that it was always the same quest if you are a rogue. So these quests seem to be class based, so that everyone of the same class will always get the same random order of quests. So it's not actually random, it's all completely class based. So what you will get is you will be told to go to Tyr's Hand in EPL to get the Brilliant Sword of Zealotry. Now the bad news for you is if you have a warrior in the group who is also doing the questline, he will have to go to Hive Regal in Silithus, which is controlled by crazy Scarab Lord farmers right now. So that one is kind of a pain in the butt, and I hope for your sake that you don't have to worry about it. But yes, if you have a warrior in the group, he will be having to go to Hive Regal to move to the next step. But the good news is for rogues, we do not have to go there. We can go to Tyr's Hand in EPL because that is the quest you will be getting. Okay, so here you will be killing the Scarlet Praetorians. They are actually fairly easy. Not actually too hard for a rogue to solo, especially if cooldowns. And the drop rate actually isn't that bad. Now the drop rate for this is group loot, so you only need to kill him once for everyone in your group. Okay, so you will go back to the ghost outside Upper Blackrock, and this time you will get the next in the supposedly random quests, but that we now know are not random. And you as a rogue will be told to go to Stratholme Live. So you do have to clear all the way to the end of Stratholme Live, and once you are there, you can summon the two NPCs, Jeering and Sorthos, who you will kill and loot, and you will go back to the NPC outside Upper Blackrock Spire again. Next is kind of an annoying one. You have to go to Alcaz Island in Duskwallow Marsh. So this is an island out off the coast in Duskwallow Marsh, and you have to collect 20 Bloodkelp from the Naga. Now this is another annoying one because the Bloodkelp is not group loot. So again, much like the ogres earlier, you are going to be killing a lot of Naga, and it's going to take a while if there's more than one person in your group who needs this Bloodkelp. Now the good news is this part is fairly soloable. If you're a well-geared rogue, the Nagas here aren't really super hard to kill, and you can actually also find a few baskets scattered around the island at certain areas, so keep your eyes out for those baskets. They do have 1 to 3 Bloodkelps inside them as well. But this step is possible to be a block if there are too many people here because there aren't a huge amount of Nagas. One tip I can say is that if you see right here, there's actually a whole underground area here that you can go to. So some people might not realize, but there is an underground area. As a rogue especially, you can just stealth down here, and this whole area is another underground section with Nagas as well. Okay, so you will go back to Bodley outside Upper Blackrock yet again, and this time as a rogue, he's going to send you to Frostwhisper Gorge in Winterspring. So you're going to need the Starbreeze Village Relic, which drops from the Giants, the Elite Giants in Winterspring. Now, if you are fairly decently geared, these are soloable. I was soloing them no problems with 8 out of 8 Bloodfang and a Heroism Trinket as well. So with cooldowns, these should be fairly soloable for most geared rogues. Otherwise, you can do this with a group as well. And it does seem that this is a group drop. So you just need to get one of these and everyone should be able to loot the item. Okay, so now back to Bodley yet again, and he's going to send you on another quest that we thought was random, but it's not random since we now know that all of these follow your class. And he's going to send you into Darkmantle East. Now, if you've never done Darkmantle East before, basically what you can do is just similar to what mages and warlocks, for example, do, which is just a jump run. You just need to get to the last boss, and when you kill the last boss there, you can summon the guy that you need to kill in Elzin the Windshaper's room. Now, once he is dead, you can go back to Upper Blackrock Spire again to the ghost outside. And this time he is going to ask for the really annoying quest. Now this one is on par with the ogres again. This one will ask you for 40 Blackrock braces from Upper or Lower Blackrock Spire. Now the trick with these is there is a higher drop rate from the orcs in Upper Blackrock Spire versus the Lower Blackrock Spire. So from everyone's reports and from our own testing is if you go into Lower Blackrock Spire, you're not going to get a whole lot of braces. Whereas if you clear Upper Blackrock Spire, and by the way, what I would suggest is you also aggro all the NPCs above the arena during the rend event. So you can see here, all our rogues are kind of hanging around up while our group starts the rend event, and we're pulling all of these mobs down that come to spectate, and we're pulling them all into the rend event as well. Now, do note that you won't need a guild group to do this, because this did get a little bit hairy, especially as we were running with only one healer. But it's pretty fun. It makes the night a little bit more interesting. But that is one way to get more orcs into your clears. On average, we were getting roughly about, let's say, 40 to 50 braces every Upper Blackrock Spire run, as long as we killed absolutely every orc in Upper Blackrock Spire. Now, do note these braces are not group loot, so it does suck if you have 4 people in your group like my group did. We had to kill until we had 160 braces total, so we did have to do Upper Blackrock about 3 to 4 times to be able to get enough braces. So just be aware that if you have a lot of people in your group, this one's going to take you a while, because you need 40 braces per person and they are not group loot items. Okay, finally, after you have the braces, you're going to go back to the ghost outside Upper Blackrock Spire, and this time he's finally going to give you the last part, which is to kill Lord Valthalak in the beast room in Upper Blackrock Spire. So hopefully you have a cleared instance up to the beast room from the previous run that you probably just did to get your braces, and you can go back up to the beast room and summon him there. Now, the tricky part from him is that you do have to be careful. He does do an AoE shadow attack that kind of wrecks people. Now, my guild just YOLO'd it because we were all very raid geared and we believed we could survive, which we did, so we just burnt him straight down. Now, if you want to be careful with this, you can just have some greater shadow protection potions when you're burning him down, and that should keep you alive, or you can mana drain him as well. So both of those methods work, but if you are well geared enough, you can just straight up just burn him down. But as you can see, even with very good gear, he did kill a few of our party, so just be aware that his shadow AoE attack does hit for a lot of damage. And I did get reports from people who tried to pug this that their pugs had a lot of difficulty with this final guy. So just be aware, you may need shadow protection potions if your guild isn't as geared or if you're doing this in a pug. Okay, so that's pretty much the quest. After you kill Lord Valthalak, all you have to do is a bunch of running around. Boldly is going to send you back to Ogre, and you're going to get the last 2 pieces, your helmet and your Darkmantle chest, and that is the tier 0.5 Darkmantle questline. So this is a bit of a battle. Again, the time to do this is going to depend a lot on, one, if you have some mage or warlock summons or ports basically, and 2, if you have more than 1 person in the group doing the quest with you, because that multiplies the amount of instances you're going to have to do. For example, because my guild had 4 people in our group doing the quest at one time, we had to do so many instances of Upper Blackrock Spire. We had to do a lot more time wasted at the Bloodkelps. We had to do a lot more time repeating Darkmantle North. If we didn't have to do that, it would have taken a lot less time. So just be aware that all those things add a lot of time, just because those quests in particular for those parts are not group loots. So good luck. I know it's a long quest, but everyone's super excited for Darkmantle. We're already seeing passes coming in. I saw one guy who procced over 400 extra energy from Darkmantle on a Nefarian fight. So we're going to see a lot more top passes like that coming up over the rest of this phase. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care. If you liked it, give it a like. If you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions, you can come visit me in the Discord. I'm super active. I would dare say the most active Twitch streamer on their own Discord, and I'm always in there answering questions. So take care, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.